Hello, my name is Kathy Reevy from Threads Workshops, and this is my stitch wheel. It's basically a work in progress and it's effectively a stitch sampler. I'm going to show you how to do 50 different embroidery stitches in each of the sections of the wheel. And as you can see, I've made the inner circle with different sorts of knots. And the next circle here is different ways to embroider leaves. I've yet to decide what the two outer circles are going to include. But if you subscribe to my channel, you'll be notified of the next videos as they arrive. And I hope that you'll be able to follow me as I do the stitches. I've started the videos and there are clips of each of these stitches on the channel, and you can also download a free pattern of the wheel if you wish from my website, and instructions are given there, or you can draw your own. I used plates and dishes and things to draw my own. I'm using a 10-inch embroidery hoop, and I'm using a linen cotton mix for the fabric. I've used some silks for my threads, but you can use whatever you like. Stranded cotton, cotton perle, any sort of silk. If you use stranded cotton, don't use all 6 strands. I would use just a couple. You can use different thicknesses of thread in different parts of the wheel if you wish. You can have a colour theme. You can do whatever you wish. And I hope you'll enjoy it, and happy stitching. This is the pattern for my stitch wheel, which I've traced inside a 10-inch embroidery hoop using a water erasable pen and a light box. I've started about 1 inch inside the hoop, and I've used a collection of plates, dishes and mugs to get the right size circles. But you can make it easy by downloading a free version of this pattern directly from my website. Once I've stitched over these lines, I'm going to wash them out and let the fabric dry before I continue. I'm using a linen cotton mix, but you can use anything for your fabric as long as you can get a needle through it easily. I'm using a seat frame for this project. They come with interchangeable hoops with stalks. This one's a 10-inch one, and you can get 8 and 6-inch ones to fit as well. So you just put the stalk into that part there, tighten the little screw, and you basically sit on this bit, and then you've got both hands free to stitch. I'm going to bind the hoop to protect the fabric, and so to make sure it doesn't move around too much in the hoop itself. You should always bind at least the inner ring of your hoop. I'm going to bind both. Sometimes if they're smaller hoops, you find that it doesn't work and you can only bind one. You will find if you look at a hoop that there's a little gap. There are little gaps in different places around the hoop as it sits, and the binding will actually fill those, so it keeps the fabric much tighter, and as I said, also protects it at the same time. I want to go through with you briefly how to bind a hoop. I'm using a 6-inch hoop and stalk so that it all goes in the picture for you, and I'm using about 3/4 of an inch cotton tape. You can use anything from 1/2 inch to 1 inch, and you can also use bias binding. So what I'm going to do is I would bind both hoops. I'm just going to show you the inner one, and all you do is, I'm going to leave an end here so I've got some flexibility when I come to the other side, but all you do is take your tape and just go round and round, overlapping each time. So you gradually get a bit of a slant on, like that. And you need to keep it fairly tight, otherwise it'll just come off when you start putting your fabric in it. So pull it nice and tight. If you want to put pin in to hold it, you can, but it's fairly secure here now, I think. So just go round and round and round, and I'll come back and show you when I get to the other side. So I've got to the other side, and I'm simply going to wrap that around to the other side of the hoop and turn it under on the inside and put a pin in to hold it for a minute, like that. And then I had a bit, didn't I, here that I need to get rid of. So again, try and make it as neat as possible. Come around and pin in on that other side there. And then you're going to stitch them down so that the stitching is on the inside and it looks better on the outside, hopefully. The outer ring, you're going to find it easier because you're just binding to the edge here on either side. So start there and finish on this edge. Don't go over the gap, because obviously you need to be able to unscrew the edges here. So that is in fact easier to do. So now to put your fabric onto your hoop. I'm often asked what's the best way to do this. So lay your fabric on the inner ring so that if you've got any design, it's right in the centre. I'm just using a piece of calico for demonstration purposes. And then lay your outer ring on top. Now I don't know if you can see, I would put the screw somewhere near the top. Keep the screw fairly tight, don't loosen it too much. You want it so that there's it really traps the fabric, so that when you push down on the hoop, it makes the fabric tight. Like that. So it should be in your hoop as tight as a drum. And then I would get a screwdriver, even though it seems tight, and turn the screwdriver. I can't do it with my fingers, so get a screwdriver and tighten it up. Now for the threads. You can use any bits of cottons that you have available, really. Cotton perlés, stranded cottons, silks. I've had a rummage through my threads box and I found these lovely autumnal colours, so I'm going to stick with those. The idea is that I'm going to be stitching in each section of the wheel a different embroidery stitch, and I'm going to start off by outlining these blue lines here in a split back stitch, which I'm then going to whip. So I'm going to do a bit of that and come back and show you what that looks like and demonstrate the stitch.